Welcome to I Prevailed. Today, I want to explore the topic of covert narcissism. So, if you're ready, let's jump into it. What is covert narcissism? Covert narcissism is a subtle and elusive form of narcissistic personality disorder. Unlike overt or grandiose narcissism, which manifests as overt displays of arrogance and dominance, covert narcissism operates covertly, hiding behind a facade of humility, vulnerability, and dependence. In this video, we will discuss and explore the characteristics, behaviors, and psychological dynamics of covert narcissism. All right, so let's dive into the characteristics of covert narcissism. First characteristic, false humility. Covert narcissists often project an image of humility and self-effacement, presenting themselves as victims or needy individuals to gain sympathy and manipulate others. Downplaying achievements. Covert narcissists often downplay their accomplishments, intentionally avoiding recognition or praise. They may attribute their successes to luck or external factors, dismissing their own hard work and talent. Example: Sarah, a covert narcissist, receives praise for a project she completed at work. Instead of accepting the compliment graciously, she responds, "Oh, it was nothing. Anyone could have done it. I was just lucky to have a great team supporting me." Seeking validation through self-criticism. Covert narcissists seek validation disguised as self-criticism. They fish for compliments by highlighting their supposed flaws or failures, hoping others will reassure them and boost their self-esteem. Example: Alex, a covert narcissist, shares a personal painting with a friend. Instead of expressing pride in his work, he says, "I'm not sure if it's any good. I'm not a professional artist, so it's probably terrible. What do you think?" Playing the victim. Covert narcissists frequently adopt a victim mentality, positioning themselves as the ones who suffer or face constant hardships. They use this victimhood to manipulate others into providing sympathy and attention. Example: Lisa, a covert narcissist, constantly talks about her difficult life and emphasizes how everyone around her has it easier. She says, "I always have the worst luck. It's like the universe is against me. While everyone else is out having fun, I'm stuck dealing with all these problems." False modesty. Covert narcissists display false modesty to appear humble and relatable. They may understate their abilities or knowledge, dismissing their expertise to create an image of humility. Example: Tom, a covert narcissist, is asked to speak at a conference about his area of expertise. Instead of confidently accepting, he responds, "I don't think I'm the best person for this. There are many others who know more than me. But if you think I can contribute something, I guess I can give it a try." Bringing attention to personal sacrifices. Covert narcissists often highlight their sacrifices to gain admiration and sympathy from others. They use these sacrifices as leverage to emphasize their selflessness or dedication. Example: Rachel, a covert narcissist, organizes a charity event but continually reminds everyone about the personal sacrifices she made to make it happen. She frequently mentions, "I've been working 16-hour days, losing sleep, and neglecting my own needs for the success of this event. I hope everyone appreciates it." Understanding these characteristics of false humility in covert narcissists can help us recognize the manipulative tactics they employ to gain attention, validation, and control over others. By being aware of these behaviors, we can establish healthier boundaries and respond more effectively in our interactions with covert narcissists. The second characteristic is seeking validation through self-criticism. This characteristic is where they express self-doubt or criticize themselves in order to receive reassurance and validation from others. This behavior allows them to maintain the illusion of humility while still seeking attention and affirmation from others. Covert narcissists may engage in self-critical statements or behaviors to elicit sympathy, admiration, or compliments from those around them. By highlighting their flaws or shortcomings, they are indirectly seeking reassurance and validation of their worth or abilities, albeit in a subtle and indirect manner. Here's an example. Imagine a covert narcissist named Mark, who is an accomplished musician. Mark hosts a small gathering where he plays the piano for his friends. After his performance, he says, "I haven't been practicing much lately, so I know it wasn't my best. I'm just not as talented as some other musicians I know." In this example, Mark is subtly fishing for compliments and hoping his friends will reassure him by praising his performance and assuring him of his talent, thereby boosting his self-esteem. One day, Mark's friend compliments him on his musical skills, saying, "You're really talented. Your piano playing always sounds amazing." Instead of graciously accepting the compliment, Mark responds, "Oh, it's not that impressive. I've been playing for years, but I still feel like I have so much to learn. There are far more talented musicians out there." Here, Mark downplays his own abilities by emphasizing his perceived inadequacies and inviting his friend to counter his self-criticism with praise and validation. By seeking validation through self-criticism, covert narcissists manipulate others into complimenting and reassuring them, feeding their need for external validation and boosting their fragile self-esteem. It is important to recognize this behavior and set boundaries to avoid being constantly drawn into validating their insecurities. The third characteristic of a covert narcissist we will explore is victim mentality, a common trait observed in individuals with narcissistic personality disorder. Narcissists with a victim mentality tend to perceive themselves as constant victims, believing that others are always mistreating or taking advantage of them. They often blame external factors or other people for their problems and refuse to take responsibility for their actions or the consequences of their behavior. Narcissists with a victim mentality may exhibit the following behaviors: blaming others. They frequently shift the blame onto others, seeing themselves as innocent victims of circumstances or the actions of others. Seeking sympathy and pity. They often play the victim to gain sympathy and attention from others, using their perceived victimhood as a way to manipulate and control others. Denying accountability. They avoid taking responsibility for their actions and deflect any criticism or consequences by portraying themselves as victims. Exaggerating their hardships. They tend to exaggerate their problems and difficulties to gain sympathy and support, often portraying themselves as the most hard done by individuals. Lack of empathy. They show little empathy or concern for others because they are consumed with their own perceived victimhood. The victim mentality of narcissists is rooted in their need for validation, attention, and control. By portraying themselves as victims, they manipulate others into providing the validation and attention they crave. They may use their victimhood as a tool to guilt or manipulate others into fulfilling their desires or meeting their needs. It's important to note that not all individuals with narcissistic traits exhibit a victim mentality, and it can vary in intensity among different individuals. Understanding this aspect of their behavior can help in setting boundaries and maintaining healthier relationships. Now, for the fourth characteristic of a covert narcissist is manipulative tactics. A covert narcissist will employ subtle manipulation tactics such as gaslighting, making others doubt their perceptions, guilt-tripping, silent treatment, and passive-aggressive behavior to maintain control and influence over others. Such as gaslighting. Narcissists manipulate others by gaslighting, causing them to doubt their perceptions, memories, and sanity. They deny reality, distort facts, and invalidate the feelings and experiences of their victims. Projection. Narcissists project their own flaws, insecurities, and negative traits onto others. By doing so, they deflect criticism and avoid accountability for their behavior. Love bombing. In the initial stages of a relationship, narcissists employ love bombing to overwhelm their targets with excessive attention, flattery, and affection. This tactic is used to gain admiration, trust, and control. Devaluation. Once the narcissist has established control, they often devalue their victims by criticizing, demeaning, or ignoring them. This serves to undermine their self-esteem and maintain the narcissist's superiority. Triangulation. Narcissists create triangulation by involving a third party in the relationship, whether real or imagined. This can manifest as jealousy, competition, or comparison, leading to feelings of insecurity and manipulation. Hoovering. When victims attempt to distance themselves from the narcissist, they may be subjected to hoovering, a tactic aimed at sucking them back into the relationship through promises, apologies, or manipulation. Smear campaigns. To maintain their image and control over others, narcissists may launch smear campaigns against those who challenge or criticize them. They spread lies, rumors, or half-truths to discredit their victims and isolate them socially. Boundary violations. Narcissists disregard the boundaries and autonomy of others, often violating personal space, privacy, and consent. This can range from invasive questioning to outright manipulation and coercion. Impact. The manipulative tactics employed by narcissists can have profound emotional, psychological, and interpersonal consequences on their victims. These tactics erode self-esteem, induce anxiety and depression, and create a sense of powerlessness and confusion. Moreover, they undermine trust and intimacy in relationships, making it difficult for victims to assert their needs and boundaries. Now, for the fourth characteristic of a covert narcissist is manipulative tactics. A covert narcissist will employ subtle manipulation tactics such as gaslighting, making others doubt their perceptions, guilt-tripping, silent treatment, and passive-aggressive behavior to maintain control and influence over others. Such as gaslighting. Narcissists manipulate others by gaslighting, causing them to doubt their perceptions, memories, and sanity. They deny reality, distort facts, and invalidate the feelings and experiences of their victims. Projection. Narcissists project their own flaws, insecurities, and negative traits onto others. By doing so, they deflect criticism and avoid accountability for their behavior. Love bombing. In the initial stages of a relationship, narcissists employ love bombing to overwhelm their targets with excessive attention, flattery, and affection. This tactic is used to gain admiration, trust, and control. Devaluation. Once the narcissist has established control, they often devalue their victims by criticizing, demeaning, or ignoring them. This serves to undermine their self-esteem and maintain the narcissist's superiority. Triangulation. Narcissists create triangulation by involving a third party in the relationship, whether real or imagined. This can manifest as jealousy, competition, or comparison, leading to feelings of insecurity and manipulation. Hoovering. When victims attempt to distance themselves from the narcissist, they may be subjected to hoovering, a tactic aimed at sucking them back into the relationship through promises, apologies, or manipulation. Smear campaigns. To maintain their image and control over others, narcissists may launch smear campaigns against those who challenge or criticize them. They spread lies, rumors, or half-truths to discredit their victims and isolate them socially. Boundary violations. Narcissists disregard the boundaries and autonomy of others, often violating personal space, privacy, and consent. This can range from invasive questioning to outright manipulation and coercion. Impact. The manipulative tactics employed by narcissists can have profound emotional, psychological, and interpersonal consequences on their victims. These tactics erode self-esteem, induce anxiety and depression, and create a sense of powerlessness and confusion. Moreover, they undermine trust and intimacy in relationships, making it difficult for victims to assert their needs and boundaries. The fifth characteristic is the inflated sense of self-importance. An inflated sense of self-importance is a hallmark trait of narcissistic personality disorder. Beneath the facade of humility, these individuals perceive themselves as superior, special, and entitled, often exaggerating their achievements, talents, and importance. I will give you a few examples on this characteristic. Grandiosity. Narcissists have an exaggerated sense of self-importance and grandiosity. They believe they are inherently superior to others and deserve special treatment and admiration. This grandiose self-view often manifests in fantasies of unlimited success, power, brilliance, or beauty. Exaggerated achievements. Narcissists tend to embellish their accomplishments and talents, presenting themselves as exceptionally gifted or accomplished. They may inflate their academic achievements, professional success, or personal qualities to garner praise and admiration from others. Need for admiration. Individuals with NPD have an insatiable need for admiration and validation from others. They seek constant attention, praise, and affirmation to fuel their fragile self-esteem and maintain their grandiose self-image. This need for admiration drives many of their behaviors and interactions. Entitlement. Narcissists believe they are entitled to special treatment, privileges, and recognition without necessarily putting in the effort or meeting the necessary criteria. They expect others to cater to their needs, fulfill their desires, and defer to their authority, often without considering the perspectives or boundaries of others. Superiority complex. Narcissists have a pervasive sense of superiority and disdain for those they perceive as inferior. They may look down upon others whom they consider less intelligent, talented, or successful, using them as a means to bolster their own self-esteem and reinforce their sense of superiority. Grandiose fantasies. Narcissists often indulge in grandiose fantasies of success, power, and adoration. These fantasies serve as a way to escape feelings of inadequacy and insecurity and provide a temporary boost to their fragile self-esteem. However, they may become disappointed or resentful when reality fails to align with their idealized self-image. Fragile self-esteem. Despite their outward displays of confidence and superiority, narcissists have fragile self-esteem that is easily bruised by criticism, rejection, or failure. They may react defensively or aggressively when their sense of self-importance is challenged, resorting to manipulation or devaluation to protect their ego. Overall, an inflated sense of self-importance is a central feature of narcissistic personality disorder, driving many of the manipulative behaviors and interpersonal difficulties associated with the condition. Understanding this trait is essential for recognizing and navigating relationships with narcissistic individuals. Now I will describe the behaviors of covert narcissists. Passive aggressiveness. Covert narcissists often express aggression indirectly through subtle, sarcastic remarks, passive-aggressive gestures, or withholding affection. Self-pity and martyrdom. They frequently play the victim, recounting tales of personal hardships to garner sympathy and manipulate others into fulfilling their needs. Lack of empathy. Though covert narcissists may appear empathetic on the surface, their empathy is often shallow and conditional, with little genuine concern for others' feelings or well-being. Ability to create a positive image. They possess an uncanny ability to present themselves as charming, kind, and selfless when around others, carefully managing their image to cultivate admiration and support. Avoidance of responsibility. Covert narcissists often avoid taking responsibility and deflect blame onto others, exhibiting a lack of accountability for their actions or the consequences caused. Psychological dynamics of covert narcissism. Narcissistic supply. Covert narcissists require a constant stream of attention, validation, and admiration from others to fuel their fragile self-esteem and maintain their self-image, self-doubt, and self-loathing. Beneath their overt confidence, covert narcissists often harbor intense self-doubt and self-loathing, driving their need for external validation. Defense mechanisms. They employ defense mechanisms like projection, attributing their own faults onto others, intellectualization and idealization to protect their fragile ego and maintain their self-perception. Cycle of idealization and devaluation. Covert narcissists may engage in a cyclical pattern of idealizing individuals who provide them with narcissistic supply, only to devalue and discard them once their needs are fulfilled, or if the person fails to meet their expectations. In conclusion, understanding the characteristics, behaviors, and psychological dynamics of covert narcissism is essential for recognizing and effectively dealing with this form of narcissistic personality disorder. By familiarizing ourselves with the subtle manipulations, false humility, and self-centered tendencies, we can develop strategies to protect ourselves and maintain healthy boundaries in relationships that involve covert narcissists. It is important to remember that seeking professional help and support can be incredibly beneficial when navigating complex relationships with covert narcissists. That's all that I have for you today. Until next time, remember to love yourself first. Thanks for watching.